Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Outlook and discussion for Wednesday, August the 7th, 2019. This one's going to be rather quick today because there's just not that much to talk about. But we do have some things to talk about. It's just that it's over in the Western Pacific. And while not a lot of people follow Western Pacific typhoon or cyclone action, tropical cyclone action, I think they are interesting. And oftentimes it'll be a precursor to what to look for in the Atlantic Basin later on when the upward motion shifts from this area, and this is obviously a flat map, Mercator projection stretched out from a globe, so I can't exactly like spin it around and show you, but you understand the upward motion's over here in the Western Pacific, and eventually just pretend like this is all over here. It comes across and you'll light up in the Eastern Pacific and then eventually light up in the Atlantic, and I'll show you another way to prove that theory in just a moment. So we do have some activity. In fact, you got all phases. You got a tropical, well, they call it extratropical storm, but it's the remnants there of Francisco. You have this typhoon Lakima and tropical storm Crosa, all in the Western Pacific. So let's take a look at the satellite imagery of this. Again, these systems born out of this massive monsoon trough that set up over there, convergence at the surface, air coming together, lower pressure, go away, Microsoft thing, annoying, and the warm ocean temperatures and the upper level winds supportive of the upward motion there, etc. Boom, here you go. Twin systems here, with the westernmost system becoming quite a strong typhoon right now, and it's headed towards the extreme southwest part of Japan's islands down here in the Okinawa area. I'll show you that in just a moment. Going to get fairly close to the northeastern tip of Taiwan, but if we look at the tropical cyclone forecast points, you see it should just miss the core, should miss the northern tip of Taiwan there, and then eventually head up towards a landfall in eastern China. Not before making landfall and crossing these islands here that are southwest of the main islands of Japan, and that's where I consider him a good friend via Twitter. I've never met James Reynolds in person, but he seems like an upstanding guy. Volcanoes, other natural phenomena, and typhoons, and even the occasional Atlantic hurricane when he can. He's over there. He's based in Japan, so it's a lot easier for him to get there than it is for anybody else, really, especially those here in the United States, like Josh Morgerman. It's just a lot easier when you live over there in the theater, so to speak. The theater of war, and then in this case, it's man versus nature, and it's James versus the typhoon. So he's getting some sleep now, hopefully. If you want to follow him, if you've never heard of him, there he is on Twitter. And he'll be posting, excuse me, reports and videos, etc. And there's the typhoon from when he posted this several hours ago. This is the track that he was screenshotting and showing where it was supposed to go. And if you go back and you look at where he says he's located, the last tweet before sleep, it's a beast, he says, clearly a Cat 3 storm. Again, this was several hours ago that he posted this, 9:15 in the morning Eastern time that he posted this. Now it's 4:10 in the afternoon. So it's probably even stronger than this. I didn't even check, sorry, but it's a beast. And he's going to be in Ishigaki. Hopefully that's how you say it. Where is that? Ishigaki, right here. So we're zoomed in on it. Now let's pull out and we'll take a look at the wider shot. There's Taipei and the northeastern and the northern part of Taiwan. So this is way down in the southwest part of those islands there, that archipelago, or archipelago, however you want to say it, of islands that makes up that western portion here of the island chain that borders the Western Pacific continent, where you have, of course, mainland China. So you can get a perspective here. He's well to the southwest of Tokyo, Hiroshima, etc. And, I mean, wow, this is island chasing big time, because if we zoom back in, what if the core goes over this island, or over this island, or in between, or over here? So good luck. We certainly hope that he does well, and he documents these things very, very well. Steady camera shots, etc. Has a lot of respect for what he is viewing. He makes a living at it, but he really understands what he's doing, and so it kind of we get to watch him virtually from afar, so to speak. So we wish James the best of luck. James Reynolds, Earth Uncut TV on Twitter. All right, and we'll see what he says, and I'll post some of his stuff tomorrow in the update that I do tomorrow, probably in the morning. This is kind of late in the day to do this, but whatever. I've been busy today working on a lot of stuff. Even when there's no hurricanes, I am busy, and it's not just kid stuff and being lazy. There's always testing going on to be ready for when that upward motion comes our way. And when is that going to be? Well, you notice there's just you know what? I'm just going to take this Windows thing and throw it. That's annoying. Go away. I got to figure out how to turn that off. I don't want to be signed into OneDrive. I just don't. So don't bother me with it. There is more convection. You see that? The intertropical convergence zone active in the eastern Pacific. More showers and thunderstorms now approaching the Windward Islands. So there's overall a little bit more lift going on in the atmosphere across the Atlantic basin. But the eastern Atlantic is still rather dry and subdued. And again, it's only August 7th. We still have quite a ways to go. If you think about the watched pot never boils that I talked about yesterday, it takes a while. And we still have 2 to 3 weeks to go before we really would start expecting more signs of activity. Now remember what I was showing you over here, that the upward motion is obviously and currently focused in the western Pacific for the time being. We don't even have anything over here in the southeastern Pacific, and certainly nothing across the Atlantic basin. It's all over here in the Westpac with the remnants of Francisco and the two tropical storm here, Crosa, and Typhoon Lakima here, however you say it. So, as I said, oftentimes when you see the upward motion here, okay, I'm just reminding you, it goes across, then it enters over here, and you light up in the Pacific, and then you eventually light up in the Atlantic. And to kind of prove that theory, here you go, looking at the ECMWF, one of many models that we could peer at, but I want to keep this rather short and to the point. This is what we're looking at, and before you're like, especially if you've never seen this, oh my gosh, what are we looking at? All right, so this is the ECMWF MJO forecast, the MJO index forecast from now until the 21st of August. So it goes out a couple weeks here. The main green line that I'm now covering in this sort of cyan color is the ensemble mean. All the little yellow angel hair pasta lines are the members. And then you have the envelope sort of surrounding that, the cone, if you will. That's what I call it. I'm sure in the research that goes on to this, they call it other things, and that's fine. That's what I call it. The envelope, the area, that envelops or envelopes the, isn't that weird how the English language works? The area that borders most of those ensemble members. And the general shape goes into the null phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation, this large-scale upward motion phenomenon that lifts the atmosphere, well, not lifts the atmosphere, but divergence aloft, where the air is able to rise better. That is obviously, let me get a red line going here, aimed into the null phase, and then more and more members now, and the overall shape getting into where? Phases 8 and 1. Where does that favor? Western Hemisphere and Africa. There you go. Boom. The ECMWF indicating that coming. We'll start to see that showing up in the weeklies, I bet, and things will start to turn, and by the time we get to August, we should start to see the ensemble mean itself right here come out and do some stuff like this. Whatever. I'm just kind of conjecturing there. It doesn't have to. It could completely change its tune and say, yeah, well, I'm going to just kind of hang out over here in the Westpac for a few weeks. But this is where it's going. So let's check this every day. it gives us something to do while we're waiting to see if the Atlantic becomes active and when it becomes active. And like I said yesterday, it's a matter of time. It's only a matter of when that happens, not if it happens. And I really suggest you use this time to do things to get ready. Go buy an extra gallon of water every time you go to the grocery store. Put it away. Save it. Again, get that generator checked if you've got one that you've used before. Maybe in last year's hurricanes. If Michael didn't completely take your house away, and I don't say that in a joking manner at all. I mean, it either did or it didn't. And it depends on where you were in that blast zone, so to speak. But maybe you're up in Mariana and you had a generator for a while. Well, go get it to and if you look up Mariana, Florida, you know exactly what I mean by that. Take that generator to a small engine repair shop. Make sure it's good to go. If you live in Florida, Michael was Florida, the peninsula, Irma, coming up on 2 years ago. You used a generator for that. Oh, well, you better take that thing to a small engine repair shop. Get the carburetor checked. Get the fuel emptied. And make sure that thing's running. Houston, that area, all the way down to Freeport and beyond, down to Rockport. Speaking of ports, all those ports, if you had a generator and you used it, now's the time to get that stuff checked up on and working so that you don't get stuck later. Seriously, it's a huge, huge stressor to be stuck when you have something you could have taken care of. It makes you so mad. I know it does me in my work. Little things where you, oh man, I should have done this, and I could have. It was easily preventable. And I run into that in my work if I'm not careful, and the same can in my life, right? Same with everything else. You have to do stuff ahead of time. All right, I'm done preaching to you, just trying to help you, because eventually things are going to get busy. All right, that is it from me for today. As always, I appreciate you tuning in from however you're doing so. It's awesome to have you on the other side of the screen listening to me and watching what I present. Thank you so much. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow morning.